Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Hall and this is your new moon reading with spiritual guidance spanning from July 23rd through August 6th, 2017. So today's new moon is in the sign of Leo, and this particular new moon is here to help to prepare us for the eclipse season. So eclipse season is going to be lasting roughly through the month of August we have coming up, with eclipses occurring on the 7th and the 21st of August. Eclipse seasons are generally times of very intense spiritual transformation, which is a wonderful thing because we get a lot of deep insights, nudges, and intuitions during that time, with the opportunity to make some really wonderful, perhaps much needed changes. As this new moon has approached, it has brought quite the intense energy with it. And that intense energy is really asking us to do some big, deep cleaning house and letting go. And that is actually being compounded not only by the new moon, which of course you can feel the effects of it sometimes up to 3 or more days before and after the new moon, but also from the fact that we had some solar flare activity on July 14th. We had a medium solar flare with a coronal mass ejection. And a solar flare is basically a giant explosion on the surface of the sun that sends energy, light, and particles right out into space, and a coronal mass ejection is a magnetic storm on the surface of the sun. And what this can do is affect electromagnetic fields. So oftentimes we will feel that, especially if you're very sensitive, at the emotional and mental levels with mood swings, high sensitivity, and things like that, as well as feeling sometimes some physical effects from it. Sometimes people just feel more physically sensitive to things, physically sensitive to sounds and sensations, sensory input, as well as some people are even known to get migraines during big solar flare events and things like that. And I definitely recommend reading a little bit more into it if you are somebody that seems to experience sensitivity around this. But anyways, in short, what I'm trying to say is that if you've been feeling extra sensitive, or just that there's been intensity out there lately, know that you're not alone, because that energy is coming from both the moon and from the sun. So if you watched the video that I did at the very beginning of the year on a reading for the year 2017, you will know that this year is a year that represents some brand new beginnings, particularly with regard to delving into our life purpose, for creating room, preparation, and new sort of, I guess, owning of our life purpose on our path right now. Eclipse season, which we have coming up, we're preparing for through this new moon, is one of the most deep transformational parts of I guess the collective energy out there for 2017. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you might be receiving a lot of new insights, or even that the releasing or the maybe emotional intensity or vulnerabilities that could be coming up that you're feeling right now are kind of part of that. They're part of releasing, clearing, so that you can be free to fulfill your life purpose, to understand it better, to understand yourself better, and to start with a new beginning in life. So the Leo new moon is bringing us both intense, maybe old emotions or energies to the surface so that you can evaluate them and release them. But I love this. At the same time, the Leo new moon is also bringing us a lot of reminders to bring joy and balance and pleasure and happiness into our lives as a part of our healing process. So this is really important, because when you're going through any time of major transformation, upheaval, or change, you are susceptible to changing the cycles and the patterns of the mind. And all parts of the human being works in cycles and in rhythms. So if you have the opportunity to change those things, that's something that's really powerful, because you'll feel it cycling back again and again in the way that in the future you will approach, maybe challenges or similar issues, or your work, and so forth. So right now, essentially the message and the energy influencing you to, yes, get some play and some pleasure and some happiness and some sparkle back into your life, that means that you are making an imprint of that joy, that sparkly, lovely energy in the way that you process things that might be heavy or challenging for you, as well as in the way that you just kind of go about your life. It's a deepening of your relationship with self-love, essentially. And I really think that joy is an important part of making sure that your personal path of perhaps spiritual and emotional growth or healing is one that is gentle, nurtured, balanced, and really, really prioritizes and focuses on self-care and self-love. So with that, let's go ahead and go into our cards for today. Today I decided to work with the Angel Tarot cards. These are good cards for getting really, really deep details into a situation. So just as usual, we're going to shuffle our cards and just go ahead and select the 3 that Law of Attraction brings to us first for our messages for this moon cycle. Let's go ahead and turn over our first card. We have the Release card. Release. So the Release card is all about the ending of a specific phase or situation or time in your life. We are approaching an ending so that we can move on. The Release card also represents spiritual transformation, don't you know? It's sort of a feeling where it's like you're going from one range of energy to a higher energy. You are like the butterfly exiting the cocoon and finally being able to spread your wings and to fly and to move and to make things happen. So releasing, just as we saw, so synchronistic with some of our messages in the beginning, that this moon is bringing a lot to release, but trust that this is a great process to be in right now. This is very, very helpful to release. Let's see what our second card has to say. Our second card is the 10 of Air. 10 of Air. So 10 of Air is an interesting card to get because it actually makes perfect sense in a storyboard coming right after the Release card. It's a card that represents the end of a difficult time, the end of challenges. It represents when we're sort of breaking free of the past, particularly where there were things that were maybe heavy and holding us back. This could be negative thinking patterns, this could be addictions, this could be negative relationships or negative relationship patterns as a whole that you've had. We're seeing so many things just exiting big time. But what I'm hearing the angels add to this is the idea that when we're doing releasing of this nature, the ego might try to fight you very, very hard. It might try to trigger you to go towards maybe some of those old limiting beliefs or those old limiting patterns or addictions or different things like that. And your guidance during this time essentially is that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that this is your opportunity to let go so that you can create a brand new you. And I'm also hearing the angels say to remind yourself essentially every step of the way, I am choosing this new cycle pattern or way of thinking because I love myself. Because I love myself, my life matters, my life purpose matters, and I'm doing this to do good to myself. So that brings in that sparkle that the new moon reminds us of as well, that bring in the self-care, self-love, bring in the joy as a way to release, appreciate the simplicity and the beauty of the little things in life, and that will really, really help to keep you anchored throughout this process of letting go. Let's go ahead and see what our third and final card has to say today. Oh, we have the Queen of Water card. Queen of Water. So the Queen of Water is an interesting card to get. This card essentially tells us that at the end of all this releasing, letting go, overcoming challenges and that sort of thing, we come out at the end of this with a sense of deep, renewed, cleansed relationship with ourself, with the inner soul, and also possibly with others. When you see the Queen of Water, who is actually traditionally the Queen of Cups, if you're looking at regular tarot and you're familiar with that, she is a very maternal character. She's very loving, very, very nurturing, and is also an incredibly spiritually aware, intuitive, or mystical character at the same time. So she's got that compassionate, loving, nurturing side and a deep, wise, kind of knowingness to her as well. Right away, the angels are really emphasizing the suit of water having come up in all of this, and they keep showing me images of water, and that water playing a role in which it's just cleansing. Like they're showing me an image of literally an energy body where there's water flooding through it, cleansing and releasing out old things so that you feel sparkling and light and brand new at the end. If you've been through any major healing or releasing in your past, like I have, you'll know that when you come out the other end of it, you feel fantastic. There's nothing quite like that weightless, light, free, sparkling feeling that you've been sort of reborn, that you have all the energy in the world, all of the possibility and potential to make your life something brand new and beautiful. The Queen of Water is sort of showing us today that at the end of this process, we've got a beautiful blank canvas upon which we can paint anything we want for our lives. We can make our lives beautiful at this time. Queen of Water reminds us to be very patient, tender, loving, and gentle with ourselves throughout this process, and perhaps to give that in our relationships as well. If you're seeing any upheaval or turbulence in relationships, be very present with everything going on and remember the value of patience, love, and gentleness. So it looks like it is shaping up to be a very transformational moon cycle here, but definitely one filled with lots of inspiration, energy, and joy. So make sure that you take the time to focus on those things because you'll really get a lot of good from them now. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell below so that you know when I have put a new video out for you. Also, if you'd like to keep in touch, you can get a hold of me on social media via Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You'll see all the links in the description below. And if you would like your own angel reading or spiritual coaching or healing session with me, you can visit my website at www.seraphim.com for more information on how to contact me for that. I also wanted to share that I left the link to a really fun podcast interview that I recently did with Spoon of Consciousness. The links for that is in the description below, and I will leave the video here as well for you. Once again, thank you so much for watching and tuning in today, and know until we meet again that you are so loved and so very blessed. Bye!